Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me. Before we get started, we'll take care of all the housekeeping notes. All the product I used and all the dimensions will be listed below. There's also a link to my online store. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. There's also my email address if you have any questions. There's also a link to my Facebook group, and we'd love to have you join that. And also, please remember to like, share, and subscribe on this YouTube channel to help the channel grow in YouTube world. And if you ring the little bell, you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. I have some beautiful paper out here, and many of you may have overlooked it or not seen it. It's in the annual catalog, and it's a hostess gift. So you can only get this by hosting a party of over $150, or if you get an order that high, or have multiple of you go together and want to split this pack of paper. This is one of those mega packs. It has 48 pieces. There's 12 sheets or 12 designs, and there is 4 of each of them on of each design. I get that straight. There's lots of colors in this. Blackberry Bliss, Daffodil, Mint Macaron, Old Olive, Petal Pink, Pool Party, and the list goes on. But it's on page 179 of the annual catalog. So if you place an order and have one that is over $150, you could get that item for free. So we'll just thumb through here very quickly. It's very, like I said, they're not in your face colors. They're very beautiful and subtle colors and paper. Love the bicycles. Like I said, they're just really beautiful papers. I'll flip it over, and we have some checks and some check marks and some dots and stripes and little birds. Just all kinds of beautiful paper. So I want to show you that first. We're also going to be using the Easter Bunny set today because we're making something for Easter. And I'm going to show you what we're making right now. We are making an Easter basket. Now I have some Easter grass. Unfortunately, the Easter grass I have is this purple color, and it clashes with the paper I used on this. Now this was Dandy Designs from Celebration, which the pastels make beautiful Easter baskets. So if you have Dandy Designs, I'd head there first. But if you don't, other paper will work. And then on this side, try not to dump the candy out, we have a little bunny on this side. So I can do this without dumping all the candy. And an Easter treat for you, and little eggs. Oop. I put some tissue paper in the bottom of mine. Like I said, my color of my Easter grass I had just clashed with this so bad I wouldn't even put it on air. But that's what we're going to be making today without the candy. You'll have to supply that yourself, but it will hold. If you just want to put all candy in this, it will hold a lot. So let me put that over there and out of my way. So to get started, first we're going to do all of our stamping. And I'm going to do a stamping mat. It's a Memento and an Easter Bunny. And these are our eggs and our verse. And I did not put these on the block and line them up because I wanted you to see how I do it, because I'm going to do this as one stamp, essentially. So I'm going to line up my Easter eggs the way I want them. Not like that. Then I'm going to take my verse and line it up. And I'm using the grid on the paper to make sure my verse is correct. And then I'm going to pick up both at the same time so we can stamp them all at once. And then what we need is we need some white paper. So I have a couple sheets there. So first we're going to do our Easter Bunny. We're just stamping him in Memento because we're going to use some blends on these in a minute. There's our bunny. And our Easter treats. Just like that. And we'll pull those aside real quick. And I've got a whole bunch of blends sitting out here. So I think we'll start with, this is Flirty Flamingo. I want light Flirty Flamingo. There's light Flirty Flamingo. And I want light gray Granite. And I'm going to go ahead and color his ears first in light Flirty. And he's going to have little pink bunny eyes. And then we're going to do the gray Granite. Now I'm going to actually sort of go across his whiskers here, sort of across to draw a line, because I want the rest of him to be white under his belly. I'm just going around the sides here, and I'm not doing a lot of blending or anything. I'm just getting some of the small areas here and around his ears. Guess I could move this in a little bit so you can see it a little better. I'm using the bullet tip right now just to go around here so I stay inside my lines. Get all the small bits first. His little arms. Now I'm going to come back in with this one. Finish coloring it in. I'm going to let that sit for just a second here. I'm going to grab the dark gray Granite. And I'm just going to put a few little highlights here where his arms come in, and his eyebrows, and his little nose, and his mouth. Now I'm going to come back with this one, and it's not that I'm just going over it lightly again, just to blend out the color and make him just a little bit darker, but not too much darker. Just by going over him a second time, just sort of smooths out the coloring. At least I found it has. Just like that. We'll leave his belly and his little tail white. And then for the eggs, let's see here. Should we have a green egg? Let's take the light Granny Apple Green. You can color these eggs any color you want. So I'm doing light Granny Apple Green over the whole egg. Then I'm coming back with the nib of the dark Granny Apple. Like that. Let's have, how about, let's do purple. I just grabbed a bunch of colors when I was grabbing colors earlier. And so is this the light? This is light heather, Highland heather. Let's come back in with the dark and darken in the other one of the little check marks. Wish I could dye eggs that look this good. Never happening. Oh, what color should we make his other one? Yellow. This is Daffodil. This is the light. don't want him all daffodil. Let's grab dark Balmy blue. Like I said, you can make your eggs any color you want. So that is the extent of our coloring. Like I said, we're keeping it simple today. I'm just going to clear off this real quick. And move that back out. Now we need to die cut these. And we are going to be die cutting these with the layering circle dies. And let's see here. This is about the third size down of the, third size down of this smooth. And it is the second largest of the scalloped, because we're going to actually cut out a scalloped in Blackberry Bliss, which I have already done. Helps save us a little time. So we just have to cut these two out. So we'll get our Stampin' Boss little Cranky out, who's been behaving quite nicely lately. And he just lines up in there, so I'm going to grab a Post-it because I don't want him slipping. I just went to all the trouble of coloring him. So there's the bunny. And here is an Easter treat for you. There's lots of verses, just happy Easter. You're a friend like no others, just says hi. Enjoy all the little moments. There's lots of verses you can choose from. There's lots of bunnies you can choose from. You don't have to put the same bunny on all of them. That one, and we'll get rid of the paper here and the little cut and emboss machine. And we're going to go ahead and attach these right now, so we're ready to go. So I glued these on. Just set them off to the side to dry. While we make the basket. Now this is a basket style I've made for years. I've seen different versions of this basket on different websites and stuff, but this is, like I said, one I've had for years I've used. So we are going to be using this beautiful paper here. I thought it would make a very beautiful box. So the first thing we need to do is we have to cut our 12 by 12 down to 12 by 10. And since this really is not a directional paper, it doesn't matter which side you decide to cut on. You can stand it all the way out and cut to 10, or you could just cut off 2 inches, which you don't get rid of because you do need this. Okay, I'll set this back out of our way, and we will get our scoreboard. So I have things flying, and on our 12-inch side, we are going to score at 2, 4, 8. Do that again. 8. I was off a little bit. That's okay. And 10. Okay. And then you're going to rotate this one time, and you're going to score at 3 and 7. So that's for the base. Now before we put our scoring tool away, this is our piece that was 2 inches by 12 inches. We're gonna put it in the machine, in the scoring tool. And I'm gonna come in this direction so I make sure I get it scored properly. You're gonna come down at a 1/2 inch. And you could score at 1 1/2 if you want, or you can turn it whichever way you want, like that. So it's 1/2 inch on each side, or 1/2 inch and 1 1/2. And now it is time to do some folding and some burnishing. As soon as I find a magic bone folder here. This is a very fast, easy box to make. A lot of fun. I gotta make sure I did score one of these incorrectly, so I want to make sure I got the right one. Score line here. And it is this one I scored wrong, so I'm gonna score this one first. What I'm doing is I stuck this piece under here. I'll show you this again. I stuck this under because they're both 2 inches. So I could see exactly which score line it was, because I actually scored off on one there. So now I know exactly which score line it is. It won't make any difference in the box or in the item. And while we're scoring, let's go ahead and fold these in like that. Go gentle, because remember, this is DSP, it's not cardstock, so it's not quite as sturdy. And the other thing is, this box does hold a lot, but keep in mind you don't want to overstuff it with too much weight. You know, a few pounds might be okay, as long as you care from the bottom. Okay, so we're looking at our paper here. These are our first score lines on the 12-inch side. Okay, so scissors, grab my big ones. We are going to cut up each of these score lines straight up score line to the first score line. We're going to rotate it and do the same thing on the other side. And this one. So all of these are loose on both sides, okay? So the first thing you want to do, we're going to turn it towards us, so we're looking at it. You're going to take the 2 inside pieces. I'm going to try to hold this up so I can show you easier. So I'm holding them like this, okay? You want to bring them down so they just touch, but you don't want this little point here to be outside. So you don't want it looking like that. You don't want that. You want it so that's just there, and this one's they're just barely touching, almost. They don't quite touch, but if you can see here, we're not exceeding this piece in here. Does that make sense? I think once I put one down, it will. So I'm going to put a little glue on this corner here. We'll add more glue in a little bit, and we're going to put glue on this corner. We just got to get this in place first. And bring them up. So you're aiming for them to be in the sides here, like that. But you're not wanting this little point to show. You want it to just be covered on both sides. And then you got to hold it up. You got to hold it for a second. Give me a moment to hold it here before we, come on. So if I hold this up, you can see we brought it like that. You can just barely see the tip of that one right there. Then these you're going to bring down this way. And you want them to, they're almost doing the exact same thing. They're almost touching, but they don't go past the bottom of the box. And they can be touching, and that does happen where they do touch occasionally, but you're not going through the bottom of the box. So we know we can put glue over about 1/3 of that. Then you're going to bring these back down. I know it's sort of hard to show you in the camera here when I'm doing this, but I'm moving these. I'm making sure we're not going down past the bottom of the box. We're coming right up to the point there. Now this here looks a little weird, but it's fine. You're going to cover it in a few minutes. So get this stuck down and let it sit and dry. And we'll come work on the other side. So we'll do it one more time. So we're going to bring these two in and bring them up. So those two go up, the inside ones go up. And there's where we only put a little glue on the one corner. Bring them up. Try to do this upside down. Making sure we're just coming over, but not overlapping here. We're just covering those two pieces right here, so we're not letting those show. So it looks like that. And then this one we're going to bring down so it goes like this. Now the other sides hooked together is a little easier. And yes, sometimes they overlap a little bit, but that's okay. Like this, like I said, this part's going to be covered, but you don't want it to exceed the bottom of the basket, I should say. So we know we can go about 1/3 of the way down on both of these. Like I said, we're going to be adding some more glue to this. And I need to come up a little bit and back down. Sort of line it up at the bottom here. Then you got it lined up, just bring it up and pinch it. So it looks like this. I'm flipping around so I can put my hand over it. Now we'll flip it back to the other side. So this is what it looks like so far. When you are picking out your paper, I would take in consideration what your paper looks like on the inside. If you are got flowers on the outside and it's got really purple stripes with pink flowers and doesn't look too good on the outside, or the colors clash, if it's, you know, pink on one side and, you know, some funky color on the inside, the other side, you may not want to use that piece of paper because you will see it. So this will take a little bit to dry, but what you want to do is just come back into your pieces. See where this is loose right here? Just come in here and put a little bit of glue there and a little bit of glue here. And it's easier to add the glue now than trying to do it and get everything lined up. So any place a little loose, to add a little more glue. Now I've actually seen people cut these off here in versions of this box. I personally like them sticking up. You know, they cut this so it's flat across. I personally like them sticking up. I think it adds character to the box. But you could. I actually did make one and cut them off. I didn't leave it at arm's reach. Just one moment. This is one with them cut off. So you can make the choice what you want. I personally like them that way, but if you want to cut them off, you can. Okay, So we're going to set that aside and let it dry for a few minutes. And we're going to work on our handle. What we need for the handle is some tear and tape. You can, if you want to glue 24 inches of DSP, you're more than welcome to. Me, I'm going to pull the DSP handle. It's just easier and faster. Okay. And get my little paper pierce tool. Or you take the pick tool or whatever you like to pull yours off with. And fold that over. And fold this one over. And give it a good burnish and make sure that it's all stuck down. And then, just like with cardstock or ribbon, just take it, start at one end with your bone folder and just, you know, a couple times depending on your paper. I'm gonna go about 3, just to give it a nice, it also breaks down the fibers so you can make a handle out of it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to glue our handle on. So we're coming down right about here, and then on this side, we'll be doing the same thing. So where those join, you don't see them. So you're going to be coming up. I won't go overzealous with the glue, but you've got a good inch there, so that's fine. Try to do it as straight as possible. I tell you, I was at the store the other day, and I was looking, when I bought the Easter candy, I was looking at the cost of Easter baskets, just baskets that weren't stuffed with anything. And most of them were no bigger than this. And some of them were up to $8, $9 a piece. And I'm like, as a crafter, I'm going to make my own Easter baskets, because we know the kids are just going to throw them away at the end anyhow. And if you have the paper and the time to do it, it's just more economical and it's personalized. And maybe your older grandchildren or kids won't tear them up. But so there's this. It's going to take a bit to dry. With this glue on the DSP, it does take a little while for it to dry before. I'd let it sit for at least 2 or 3 hours before you try to stuff it. Just my personal. So we'll bring our little guys back in now. One side is our Easter bunny. And I'm going to have them so just the little circle just comes up there, right about there. And I'm going to use dimensionals on mine. And I'm going to use a few dimensionals. Because as we know, these are for children. You could glue it on too if you wanted. Actually, mine aren't going to children this year. I am doing some for children, but this one is not going to. I think I'm going to give this one to my mother. So no one tell her. She probably will see the bag, but she won't know it's going to be for her. And I'll fill it with all kinds of good stuff she loves. You know, she may be an elderly woman, but she's in her 80s. You know, she still likes treats and having fun stuff. So, I believe in letting her have what she wants, or what she thinks she might want. And then we'll do this one where it's just coming up, just that, this and here gives it just a little bit. So, that is the Easter basket with the bunny and the egg. You could put 2 bunnies. You could put a bouquet of flowers. I actually thought about making one with the fitting florets, making a bouquet of flowers. which would be beautiful too. You could put ribbon on this. You could do just about anything you wanted to this basket and make it work. Let me show you the first one I made that I actually have stuffed with candy. So you only have about, what do we got? About 2 weeks till Easter? Maybe, yeah, about 2 weeks. So if you need to make some Easter baskets for your family and friends, get to it, as the bunnies down here would say. Ooh, this bunny's worth a whole penny, but this one's 50 cents. So you guys choose. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Thank you for joining me. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And on Friday, we have another Easter project, which I think you'll really like. So till then, goodbye.